All right, next up we have methane. And methane, of course, what state of matter is methane? It's a gas, okay? Methane is what we have in our gas jets at our stations. So therefore we know that it is, if we're using it in our gas jets for propane or for Bunsen burners, what is it? Flammable, okay? It's not soluble in water. It is flammable. It's not going to conduct because we don't dissolve it in water. So then decide if it's ionic or molecular. The odd fact about methane, methane is also what's in farts. And they talk about how methane is one of our greenhouse gases and how tons and tons of cows farting, they fart a lot. They produce lots and lots of methane, which contributes to greenhouse gases. Iodine. Iodine I'm not going to show you. That's why I gave you the data in the data chart. And that's because we used iodine in a lab while I was gone last week. And it's very messy. You guys were like hammering it, remember? And it was like kind of purplish, reddish. It was metal looking, but then it like did all sorts of crazy stuff. So I'm not going to do that, but you can see that it would be a solid at room temp. It's slightly soluble in water, just a little bit. And it does not conduct when it's dissolved. So decide if it's ionic or molecular. That's a good question. Slightly be soluble, we're going to talk about that when we get to our solubility product constant chapter, which is second semester. And that tells us about how, like, at different temperatures, some substances can have just a tiny bit dissolve or can have all of it dissolve. And some are right in the middle. Okay, and why? It has to do with their lattices and stuff. Okay. Iron 3 nitrate. The Roman numeral 3 is for the charge on the iron, the transition metal. Boy, you guys are really awake today. All right, so it's the charge on the transition metal, which you don't really know what that means yet right now, right? But we'll worry about that later. We also see that we must have a polyatomic ion in here because there are 3 elements in this compound. You could probably guess that the NO3 is the polyatomic ion because it is already in parentheses. The pretty or funky yellowish brownish color is due to which element? The iron, yeah, because it's a transition. Let's see if this is soluble. And we can see right away that yes, it is soluble. So now we're going to test it, for conductivity. And it conducts for sure. And our last 2 are liquids. We have sulfuric acid. If I didn't know the name of this compound, how do I know that it's an acid by looking at the formula? Hydrogen. Yep, it starts with hydrogen. So that's a generalization we're going to use this year. The 1M, of course, like I said before, is how concentrated it is, so how weak or how concentrated it is. Sulfuric acid, when we buy it, we can buy it at 18 molar, but no more than that. Yes? Good question. No, it's going to be a liquid at room temperature, sorry. Hydrochloric is our one that's a gas. I have some acid of the sulfuric. Sulfuric acid is also the acid that's in our car batteries. And that's really strong. That's 18 molar. It's dangerous. And we don't see any layers forming, so yes, it is soluble. I'm going to test for conductivity with the pure acid without putting any water in it. And, yeah, there it is. Ooh. Oh, yeah, it does conduct. I didn't see the light at first. And it conducts. All right. No, thank you. See, that's why I have you guys here. Help remember stuff that I forget. All right, so again, strip of paper towel, dunk it in. Since we don't know if it's flammable or not, we're gonna close it, put it farther away from us. Matches, open, fold it over, about halfway to 3/4 full. Whoops, maybe. These are old matches. There we go. And nope. That's a big no. That was the sulfuric. Next up, we have a little bit of bleeding going on with the name. We have isopropanol. Isopropanol, does anybody know a common name for that in our home? Rubbing alcohol, not propane. That's a good guess though, because it has propanol in it, right? It has similar makeup to propane in some ways in the number of carbons, and that's why propane is called propane and isopropanol is isopropanol. They both have 3 carbons. All right, so my isopropanol, also known as rubbing alcohol. Yep, you were right. And I'm going to put it in here. Test for solubility. And it all dissolves. There's no 2 layers. Those are just bubbles inside of there. Now I'll remember the flammability. So a strip of paper towel. Again, it ends in all, OL, so what type of compound is it? It's an alcohol. So now we're going to test for flammability. Do you think it's going to be flammable? Okay, we're going to stop for this, move it away just in case it is. So we don't want that anywhere near us if it is. Fold over our matchbook, press, pull, maybe, or not. There we go. And sure enough, nice pretty flame. Flammable it is. And Issa, you can see that some of it burned, some of it didn't, the actual paper towel. You were asking about that? Last up is our, is this 3rd hour or 4th hour, guys? Okay, thank you. Our conductivity. Just losing track of time in my head. Yes?
You have a gas stove?
Mm-hmm.
What gas is it?
Are you talking about like that's plugged into your house gas stove, that kind of gas stove?
Yeah.
That is natural gas, and natural gas is methane. If you have like a camper stove or a grill or something, that is propane.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, what am I doing with this? That's a good question, though. All right, so niet, negativo, nada, does not conduct. So it does not conduct. So go ahead and fill out the IM for the propanol, also known as isopropanol. And then underneath where it says conclusion for day 1, were your predictions correct? Explain which were correct, which weren't. Why do you think some of them weren't correct? What did you learn to look at from the empirical evidence?